Alright guys, what's going on? You guys really liked the last video I made on Doom the Dark Ages where I talked about the guy who wanted to boycott the game. Because get this, they focused on the part of the game that people care about. I mean, how dare id Software dare give us what we want? How dare the idiots over at id Software give us an amazing campaign at the expense of the subpar multiplayer mode? I mean, they must be huffing paint thinners. Why don't they just make a battle royale? That would truly make the fans happy. Alright, let me stop. Basically, in the last video, we talked about a guy who wants to boycott the game because it's single player, and I just goofed on him a little bit. But today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're actually going to go to Reddit. Because, I mean, if there's one place on the internet you can go that you can always rely on just the smartest takes imaginable, it's Reddit. I'm kidding, the takes on that site are complete aids, but let's go ahead and get into the Redditors' opinions on Doom the Dark Ages. Now, the first post here I don't think is terrible, it's more the replies I want to get into. But he says, we should be boycotting Dark Ages for Mick. He then says, we should be boycotting Doom as a whole for Mick. Matter of fact, let's start now. Justice for Mick. Now, for those of you who don't know about the whole Mick Gordon situation, Mick Gordon is responsible for some of the best Doom soundtracks, and he was kind of treated like shit. I'm not gonna go over the full thing in this video because I do not have an extra 45 minutes, so I'll put a video up on the screen now. But the replies are very interesting. People don't care. Bethesda could kill their mother. And they still line up to buy the next game if it's a good one. I mean, yeah, that's totally the same thing, am I right, guys? Even Reddit realized how retarded this comment was and they downvoted it. Somebody getting mistreated at the company is the same thing as Bethesda pulling up to your front door to take out your mother. I mean, what fantastic logic on display here from Reddit's smartest individual. Also, the funny thing about this is Mick Gordon himself said not to boycott the game. So why boycott the game if the person you are boycotting for doesn't even want you to boycott in the first place? This guy down below says can it, and he puts a clown emoji basically calling him a clown, which in my opinion is a very rare Redditor W. Then the other guy claps back at him saying it can, I've got a backbone. Well, good for fucking you, man. This guy's acting like he's the savior of gaming or something. If you don't want to buy the game because of the treatment of Mick Gordon, that's completely fine. But don't try to police other people into not buying the game. Like, even with the whole Avowed situation that I covered, which you can go watch that video if you want, I'm not gonna sum it up here. But if you wanna buy Avowed, and you don't care about the drama, that's fine, that's up to you, it's your money, man. You know, I can't sit here like some fucking gaming guardian and tell you guys what you can and cannot buy. I'm just sharing my thoughts. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one. This guy's just happens to be full of shit. Well, I mean, we're talking about a Redditor here, so more like full of soy.
Soylent has fit perfectly into my life. I tried every single one of these, and not only did I think that they were all delicious, I also loved how creamy and smooth the drink's texture was. I actually looked forward to drinking Soylent every day.
Next up, we have possibly one of the worst takes regarding Doom the Dark Ages that I've ever seen. Why is no one saying this about Doom the Dark Ages? To answer his question after reading through what he has to say, I think the answer is because most people don't have brain damage. Or maybe it's because no one else is as intelligent as this guy, and this is truly the smartest human on planet Earth. He is on a higher plane of thinking than us filthy peasants. I think it's the former, though. I love the art style, it's my favorite out of the HM games. Gothic, dark, and gritty, but, of course there's a but. If there's anything that a but and a Redditor have in common, it's that they can only peddle out crap. I am a little worried that gameplay-wise, it's going to feel like a step back from those who beat Doom Eternal on Nightmare as well as DLCs. It's hard to go back to 2016 now gameplay-wise feels tame, simple, and lacking mechanical depth. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut you off here. You realize most people aren't playing on Nightmare, right? Nightmare is kind of made for the people who put 100+ hours into the game. Like, in order for me, because I played through on Nightmare, to get to that point, I had to have so much experience with the game. Like, at least 100 hours. before I even attempted it. But the average player, do you think they're gonna sit there for 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 hours to learn how to play on Ultra Nightmare? And the game should be designed around that? Come on, man. Most people are playing on normal, honestly probably easy. The game shouldn't be only designed to cater to hardcore players. Also, I went back to Doom 2016 right after playing through Doom Eternal, and honestly, the game felt completely fine. Sure, it's not as fast as Doom Eternal, but it's a fine game, it's mechanically sound. Apparently a game being slower now means it's objectively worse? Like, don't get me wrong, I think Eternal's better than 2016, but not because it's faster. I'd be down for a combat system that's maybe a little slower than 2016 and is focused on the brutality or whatever. So he says 2016 now gameplay-wise feels tame, simple, and lacking mechanical depth after becoming a black belt in Doom Eternal. Oh my god. That's something a redditor would say, alright. A black belt in Doom Eternal. Geek! Especially after some of the things HM has said in interviews since the trailer drop. Phrases used such as simplified and accessible and streamlined. These are red flags to me. I don't know about simplified, but accessible I don't have a problem with. And no, accessible does not mean easy for all the morons out there. Accessibility is things like text-to-speech, a colorblind mode, remappable buttons, I guess. Accessibility is not something like an easy mode, and it is not something like, I don't know, aimbot. However, gaming journalists out there who can't finish the first level of Cuphead would probably disagree with me. We have the evidence in front of us how many games have gotten slower, simplified, more accessible, and streamlined, and been better for it when it comes to depth and longevity. Plus, no Mick Gordon is also a worry. The soundtracks from Andrew and Co. in the DLCs are great, don't get me wrong, but they're not quite Mick Gordon. I mean, this guy's acting like Mick Gordon is the only person out there that can make good music. Have you heard the music in the Doom the Dark Ages reveal? Shit sounds awesome. It's so pathetic that all these redditors are trying to stop your enjoyment of the game or say it's gonna be bad or whatever, all because Mick isn't there. Like, it sucks the way he was treated, and I thought he was very talented, but stop acting like there are no more talented music creators in the world. If the music is as good as the music in the reveal trailer, I think we're gonna be fine. Hugo Martin didn't seem enthusiastic either, like he was with Doom 2016/2020, when he was brimming with excitement talking about them. Maybe he's having a bad day, who knows? This is such a nitpick. I hope I'm totally wrong, by the way, as I've never looked forward to a game more, to be honest. I'm pessimistic with how the whole Mick situation went down, the Ancient Gods 2, and some of the words and vibes since the Dark Ages. Now, this might be a hot take, but I got some enjoyment out of the Ancient Gods Part 2. The only thing I really disliked was the Dark Lord boss fight, but I definitely agree that Ancient Gods Part 1 is way better. The Ancient Gods Part 1 actually holds my two favorite levels in Doom Eternal, those being the Swamp level and the UAC Atlanta level. But hopefully the developers take people's complaints about the Ancient Gods Part 2 and they use it to make a better experience with the Dark Ages. The next post we have here is Unpopular Opinion. Doom the Dark Ages will not be very good. By the trailer, I see a couple of things. First of all, the shield mechanic seems like it will break the flow of the gameplay, and looks like a slow mechanic for defense purposes. You know, using that logic, wouldn't you agree that chainsaw kills and glory kills also break the flow of combat? Or are you just looking for something to complain about? Also, the logic of slow equals shit is so funny to me. This dude got TikTok brain rot. Like, I do not understand this logic. Oh no, you have to defend yourself. Oh no, more game mechanics. How dare they add more depth to my video game? Now that you think about it, he's absolutely right. What's that? You want both offensive and defensive mechanics in your video game to give it more depth? You moron. I can easily tell what school bus you get on. Jokes aside, this is awful logic. Believe it or not, the original Doom games, Doom 1 and 2 and 64, were not that fast-paced. When I find myself playing Doom 2, there's a lot of times where I'll actually take cover and not want to get seen by the enemies and just pop out long enough to shoot an enemy with the shotgun. There's times where I'll line up some enemies next to a barrel and then shoot it. Not everything has to be fast-paced, and if that's what you're looking for, go play COD. Second of all, the kicking seems like a slow, repetitive thing to do, and can disappoint. How can a kick disappoint? And couldn't you make that same argument about chainsaw and glory kills? Yet I don't see anyone doing it. Why is that? Because it's a stupid criticism. It's like complaining about having to reload your gun. I mean, this is just basically another way of saying my video game has too much gameplay. Me no like complex games. Me monkey brain only play when me shoot everything in sight. Me no like complexity and mechanics. I just don't know, man. Third of all, the guns in the trailer seem or pretty generic or too OP. You're gonna complain about OP weapons when the BFG exists? A literal weapon where you shoot it and everything on the screen fucking dies. Okay, man. Also, generic weapons? A chainsaw shield that you throw like a boomerang and comes back to you. Just generic. Generic slop. A weapon that grinds up skulls and shoots them out? Slop, generic. I really hope for the success of the game, but by the trailer, I don't think the game has a good chance. Well, you need to get your eyes checked. Anyway, that's pretty much gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike and an angry comment. Yeah, peace.